All right, everybody, welcome back to Culz Reviews. It's one of our first, just kind of regular reviews in a little bit. But I did kind of pick this one because there's some stuff in the pipeline. I uh, can't say anything right now. It's just how this whole process works. But once certain things come out, then we can make videos on it, and you guys will figure out why we did this in the future. But today we are talking about Nova's Bigger Than T.rex. This came out in 2014, so it's been out a decade now. And it looks at one of the bigger finds for Spinosaurus aegyptiacus or Egypticus that has ever happened up to that point, obviously. We'll get into what we found since here, because science, you're always learning. That's kind of the fun thing. But joining me as usual is
Sam.
Yeah, Matt.
Now, Sam, was this your first time watching this documentary?
I don't think so. I think you've had me watch this before, either on a road trip or when we were just hanging out after watching another video that we did and reviewed on. So I want to believe this is my second time watching it.
I mean, I would definitely believe me making you watch a Spinosaurus documentary, so that is a high possibility. Matt, what about you?
No, I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before. I always liked the Nova series on Discovery, so I'm pretty sure I've seen this one, but it was quite a while ago.
Yeah, so this one documents Nazir Ibrahim's search for some fossils that he's come into collection of actually, Paul Sereno is the one that brought him in. But he recognizes where the fossils might have been from because he remembered a certain just kind of feature. Because the spines, when you cut them open, they have like a line through them. And he just happened to remember that from his trip to Morocco. And so, kind of out of luck, he goes there and he is able to find more of the Spinosaurus. A few years down the road, he'd go back and find the tail of the Spinosaurus, which would change it more. Spinosaurus just keeps getting weirder and weirder. I can't wait to talk about some more stuff, but unfortunately, that's how these things work. No, you just got to be respectful of the people actually doing the work, and that's what we like to do. But Matt, what did you learn from this documentary?
That we still really don't know what Spinosaurus looks like. I think they said, what was it, 60% complete and 40% was not computer animated, but enhanced. But I just learned that it was one of the largest carnivore dinosaurs out there, and it's just the thing was massive. I would have hated to run into that. See that swimming at me in a lake or a creek or wherever, I'd be gone. But either way, I'd be gone. It would eat me, or I'd run as fast as I could.
Sam, what about you?
For the longest time, it was Keegan's favorite thing, a cryptid, because they had nothing about it. They did mention cryptids a lot.
They did actually, yeah, they actually did say it was kind of like, so what they said it was like Bigfoot or Nessie because for the longest time we just had pictures of Stromer's find, which was the first Spinosaurus. It was actually pretty well complete. I mean, not complete like Sue, but for what we've been able to find for Spinosaurus, you know, unfortunately, it got bombed, demolished in bombings during World War II in Berlin. And so it was lost to history, and all we would really find were teeth. And so for a lot of people, that's why the whole like Nessie Bigfoot thing came around was they're like, you knew about it, you could see pictures, but you could never actually put your hands on the fossils. And that's a one of the reasons why people think too. Very early on in the discoveries, Ernst Stromer said it was a very large theropod, similar in size to Tyrannosaurus at that time, and had, there's possibility we live in a alternate timeline somewhere where Spinosaurus got more popular than T.rex because the fossils didn't get blown up and there were always these fossils to go look at. So it's always kind of weird to see where things go. But Sam, what else did you learn?
From their descriptions of it, they make it sound like the Frankenstein of dinosaurs, just because of all the random parts that they find and are just piecing together like a Frankenstein almost.
Right, yeah. So this is how paleontology works is you take what you can find, and it's very, very rare we actually find a Sioux, or I'm trying to think of some of the other pretty well. I mean, Big Owl was pretty well preserved as far as ones we've done on the channel, but it's very, very rare you find those where it's easy to put the skeleton together. So a lot of times when you find it, you're looking back at references for past discoveries or similar species. And this one, I know they modeled stromers, they modeled their discovery, and then they pieced a little bit together with Suchomimus, which was another African Spinosaurid that Paul Sereno actually helped find and name. I mean, I don't know, say like that. That's what Spinosaurus at one point people thought, just like a megalosaurid with a
It's pretty
spine.
accurate.
And then, of course, once we realized, hey, baryonyx is pretty similar as far as the teeth and everything, that's when around the time Jurassic Park came out. And so you got more of a, baryonyx esque Spinosaurus.
And that movie is what put it into the shadows.
And then this one is when we got like the weird spine and then the short legs with flat feet. I don't know if it's coming up. But yeah, see, now they found the tail, so now we know what the tail looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Also weird. Matt, besides like how big Spinosaurus was, what else did you enjoy about this documentary?
Well, it was found probably in an area where I don't really think people would guess it to be found. It was pretty much in the middle of a true desert, and when you have an aquatic animal like this, and yes, the deserts at one point could have been water, but just seeing it in a different light and finding it, oh, where was it? Morocco, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, finding it outside of Morocco, just like I said, it brings new light that you really probably can find dinosaur bones anywhere at this point. Are we looking in the wrong places for things? And uh, again, I still think it's really cool, though, how you were able to watch how, they know they're missing bones, but yet, with today's technology, we're able to kind of piecemeal what the next bone should look like that we're missing. And we're really getting better ideals of what these monsters look like.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, I think it depends on just it's much easier to go hunt for fossils in a calmer climate than the desert. So that's why I think some of those fossils get found. There's got to be just so many different fossils out there that we will probably never. I mean, obviously, there's so many that we'll never find anyway, but just in the Sahara, because it gets over 100 and it's no water. I mean, those are pretty treacherous conditions, and you're just digging in the sun, and there's not a huge amount of life anyway. Sam, what else did you enjoy about this one?
They kind of explained paleontology and how it kind of works and how it like people come across it and the unfortunate ways it comes across it or how they get damaged in processes. But it was very, very informational and very fascinating and further proved my point that they kind of just make the names up, even though Keegan disagrees.
What do you mean they make the names up? You can only you're only supposed to give the name once you have diagnostic features that can differentiate it from a different fossil.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, to your point though, as far as like how paleontology works and like the importance of documenting the land that it comes from too, because there could be other minerals and smaller fossils. I think they talk about like mollusks and clams in this one, but it can help give you the environment. And yeah, they talk about niche partitioning as well in this one with the different predators filling different niches. Carcharodontosaurus obviously hunting the bigger sauropods, where Spinosaurus in this one was hunting fish, which their teeth are pretty well adapted for fish. Though we do have related species like what is it? I think it's Irritator that they found a pterosaur that it lunched on. So interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a giant barn owl.
Not a giant barn. This also came out in 2014 when the proportions of Spinosaurus seemed a little odd for how it walked. So we do get some outdated walking motion in this one because they have it much like this one, walking on its like arms, which theropods can't bend their wrists like that because they'd be broken. They're not pronated.
Yeah, the walk was pretty fascinating.
Yeah, so but now we know it would have stood up more like this, and it's like right here is where it's like all its weight would have been balanced on. So instead of being down like this, it could stand up like this. They've done more studies, and since it's come out too, they have found like the tail of Spinosaurus, which has a like ray fin shaped and it has like a little spine. So their little cell lizard that they were kind of showing off for that chameleon, actually not a bad example. No, but overall, I mean, we learn more stuff, and it's not going to be as up to date as something made today, especially with Spinosaurus, because there's always new stuff coming out. Just because, like Matt and Sam have said, it's not well documented because of its harsh environment that we have to go and look into. But luckily, more and more discoveries are coming about. Lately, it's just been, did it swim, or did it wade in the water? And like, I swear, like every couple months we get
kind
a
of
new
like
paper.
Baryonyx, because Baryonyx wasn't like a swimmer, but it can like wade through the water.
Well, so there was a study done where Baryonyx and Spinosaurus, they said, were more how did they do this? I think it was the density of their bones were more for like diving into the water, whereas Suchomimus was wading.
Oh, okay.
Now, it's going back and forth, so until we get like better
Suchomimus
proof.
was the one that they mentioned in this as like a distant cousin, or Alabama cousin, as they said.
Spinosaurus and Suchomimus are definitely distant. Suchomimus is closer to Baryonyx, I think, as far as the family tree goes. I'd have to look it up. But Suchomimus is really large. The one I saw was like 30, 36 feet, something like that. So not small, not Spinosaurus big or Sue or anything, but you get next to it and you're like, wow, this is a big animal. Its skull is really weird though. It's like super thin and longer than Spinosaurus, like just more block-like.
I'm just expecting all dinosaurs to get Dunkleosis or Dunkleostis.
I mean, no, because the difference with dinosaurs and Dunkleosteus is we really only have the head of Dunkleosteus. And so that study looked at the head, or it was the front of the head, I think, to where the gills would have been versus the whole overall length of fish, and compared it to different fish, and that's how we got that size. So the placoderms all kind of got nerfed. But the new Megalodon paper did the opposite. They said it was skinnier and longer, like a sand tiger shark. It actually got the opposite. Yeah.
It's what it's going to be referred to now.
Yeah, the Dunkleosteus effect. Matt, how does this...
I like this.
Right. Matt, how does this compare to the other kind of dinosaur documentaries we've discussed so far?
I don't know. I think this one's been better. I mean, this one I enjoyed a little bit more. Probably because it was more modern of a video. 2014 wasn't all that long ago. We're looking at 10 years ago. I enjoyed it more. I mean,
Sam, what about you?
I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. Holding back making a reference, even though I really want to, and I still might. But at least they can pronounce the name of the dinosaur correctly, unlike a Giganotosaurus. I did it anyway. No, I'm kidding. The Giganotosaurus. Sorry, Keegan. You know I have to.
No.
No. No, it was really good. I mean, out of all the ones we've watched, have we talked about the Giganotosaurus on this one, or have we not done a review for that one?
No, we did the Giganotosaurus. We did Ultimate Guide to T.rex. We did Dinosaur 13, which was really good.
Yeah. Okay.
I
I
think
just
those
wanted
are.
to make sure
And then of
you did
course
or
we
not,
did
because I know
the
we've watched it a couple times, or
yeah,
you've made me watch it because of my
the
reference
name.
to Giganotosaurus all the time. I mean, out of all the ones we've watched, the Giganotosaurus and that T-Rex ones, I don't know. I can't remember them all. Yeah. I mean, look at that T-Rex. That looks great.
I think it's just like a hand puppet.
I'm pretty sure it is, and that's why it's great.
I love it. I love old. It harkens me back to my childhood.
Yeah. No, I mean, all the ones we've watched have been, I mean, some are a little outdated than others, but they are still done really well. Just needs an update.
Yeah, I mean, this one 10 years on probably needs an update just because we've learned so much more. And like I said, with Spinosaurus, I'll have to do a video on it in the coming times, but we gotta wait for more things to come out. There's just so much we've learned about Spinosaurus and its habitat, and so I think 10 years on, there's more things we could talk about. We definitely need one show that people don't think it knuckle walks anymore. I mean, that's a good hypothesis, but at the same time, they didn't have any actual evidence of it being able to pronate, I'm pretty sure. So unless it can pronate, it's gonna like break its hands every time. So
Because when I first saw that, that's the first thing I thought about. I was just like, that would be painful.
yeah, I mean, there are animals. I mean, obviously, like kind of gorillas who kind of walk in that weird pattern and click of ears and stuff like that.
There's
But mammals can also like pronate. Like dinosaurs' arms were stuck kind of like this, like facing each other. That's it.
as far as we know.
Well, and so the fun thing
Sorry.
about that is in media, it was always. I'm trying to think how it was always done, but most of them do it like this now because of
Mhm.
Jurassic Park's raptors. And the
Mhm.
only reason they have their arms like that is because there's people in there. And so it's easier for the people to have their arms like this than like all weird up like that the whole time.
Yeah. And
But
then
no,
also Tammy the T-Rex, which is
with
super
its
realistic.
Mr.
Good.
Fantastic arm.
They could dial a telephone.
It's a good one. See, we've talked about that.
It's a good one.
Uh, One thing too is the models used were kind of like reskinned models from Planet Dinosaur. So at some point we'll have to watch that. And then you guys can be like, "Oh yeah,
Which
not
one?
Planet of Dinosaurs." It's kind of like a Walking with Dinosaurs esque like documentary where they're like watching dinosaurs and things happen.
Okay.
It was made a little bit before this, but yeah, if anyone's ever watched that, they will recognize the dinosaurs, like the Carcharodontosaurus and the Spinosaurus were ripped from that. And then they
Okay.
always show like or not Suchomimus,
Sarcosuchus.
Sarcosuchus living with them, but it lived earlier. It wouldn't have run into them. At least as far as we know, we don't have any evidence uh, currently that they shared habitat. But yeah, maybe at some point too we will get to Chicago because that's where Sereno is based out of. We can see the Suchomimus skeleton in Chicago, as well as the Spinosaurus skeleton is now in the Field Museum in Chicago as well. So at some point we'll definitely have to get back out there. It's been not quite 10 years. We still got 4 to go. So about 6 since me and Sam have been there. Or no, 7 years. So we went in
Mm-hmm.
2017. So 7 years. But yeah, we'll have to get back out there and document that. But we'll be doing some more museum stuff here. There's a free day at our museum coming up in a couple weeks, so we are hoping to get out there at least. If not, we got plenty of museum stuff. Keep an eye out for shorts, and like I said, I will be doing more Fossil Frenzies here soon. We got some other ones I want to talk about as far as some kind of recent dinosaur discoveries that have come out. We filmed a little bit in Roswell as well, so you'll see that hopefully sometime soon. Matt, anything else? Kind of final thoughts on this one?
No, I'm kind of interested to keep watching the progression of the Stegosaurus to really learn more about it. I think it could be a very interesting dinosaur and one I would love to know more about. Did I say Stegosaurus or
You did.
Spinosaurus?
Yeah,
You
I did.
Okay. I was just thinking, I'm like, did I say Stegosaurus? The Spinosaurus, sorry.
You
The
were thinking about
I
Stegosaurus
would
is always
continue with
right.
that. I'd be like, yeah, no, the Stegosaurus
Somebody's like, we already
is
know
a
about that, damn it.
massive creature.
The Spinosaurus, sorry. No, but I find it interesting, though, too, with its jaw-like pattern. Was it wider? Was it more narrow? Was it, so just following along with that.
Yeah, I will say it depends on the model you get. Like this one from PNSO, as far as its head, is like super narrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to get some other. This is Rebor, or this is Papo. It's narrow, but it's not as like drastic in the front.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's also in the knuckle walking.
Well, my final thoughts on it is I've always enjoyed the Spinosaurus through ARC. And I may give Keegan a lot of crap for it, but it was a pretty good one. Yeah, Jurassic Park 3, it just got brutalized, and then now that movie is uncanon, so
No, it's
it happens
canon.
when you no, it's not.
It's canon. They just refuse to make any nice Hammond collection models of it.
Yeah, because it's not canon.
It's because the people that got mad about it are running Jurassic Park now.
Yep, exactly.
Been blacklisted.
As it should.
Actually,
can't disrespect the T.rex like that.
I'm pretty sure Spinosaurus will be coming back in the next Jurassic World.
Oh. Where it dies to Compsognathus.
Now, as far as kind of some of the leaks that have come out, is there's going to be a new, or the water scene is going to be the Spinosaurus. So we'll have to see. They said it's going to be more of a paleo accurate design, which we know what that means. They said that with the Giganotosaurus, and look how that turned out. So who knows with this one? Which I don't know if you guys saw the haunted tour yet, but there's the traveling Giganotosaurus does make an appearance.
No, I'm probably about 17 minutes into it, and then I had to stop. I started watching it before I went back to school today.
I have not watched it yet because I was at work.
It is a fun retrospective of our channel and the growth of Castle Rock. There's a scene with the Old Stone Church when it was the Old Stone Church, and the building next to it, the office building with the office in it, I guess, is still under construction. Like it just reached its full height, and there's nothing else built around it. And then it cuts to like a more recent one that me and Matt filmed, and it's just like completely built up, and I'm like, huh, that's pretty crazy. As well as if you guys want to know what Sam looks like without a beard, watch that episode.
Don't do it.
Actually, he has a beard, it's just not as long.
Yeah, I think it was recently shaved. I don't remember where I was working at that time. When was it? When did we film the first one? Like 2
years ago? 3 years ago? Anyways, but now that we've gotten completely off track, but please go watch that and help support that one. It's a video we've worked a long time on and we're pretty proud of. But Matt, what about you? What's your recommendation and rating for this one?
I'm going to come in with, I think, a solid 9 on this one. Like I said, Nova's always done a great job with their videos and documentaries. And yeah, I would absolutely recommend it. I mean, there was some very knowledgeable information shared and talked about.
Sam, what about you?
I'm gonna give it the good old Keegan classic, a 6. I'm just kidding. I'll give it a 9 because I can't stoop that low. I will give it a 9. I thought it was really good. It's very informative. Yeah, it was pretty fascinating because paleontology, I like Keegan. Probably not as much as Keegan, but like Keegan was very interested in it. Did some of those like tours where like they had fossil or like not really fossils, but they had like ceramic things that you would dig up in like a sand pit, and then you could like were able to mold a dinosaur imprint, which was fun. I did enjoy that when I was younger, so I've always had an interest in it, and yeah, I do recommend it and enjoy it.
Yeah, for me, I would say solid like 8.5, 9. I mean, I am slightly biased. Spinosaurus is my favorite dinosaur, so uh, maybe a little biased there, but it is good. It does have some outdated hypotheses, and as far like the knuckle walking, and obviously we've learned more about the tell, so it's just hard. With Spinosaurus, it's really hard to give an accurate one in the last 10 years because we keep learning so much and it keeps changing. So you could give a really accurate one, and like a year later, they've learned something new, like the tell, and now your whole design's different. And then like these whole back and forth with, could it swim? Did it wade? Was it like a giant heron that sat and picked off the fish and bait like 15, 20-foot fish? But yeah, so at some point, like I said, hopefully here we'll be getting to a video on Spinosaurus. Will it be in Chicago? Who knows? Will it be here? Who knows? Just stay tuned. I think something else we want to try in 2025 is a true night at the museum or a night at the zoo. So who knows? Stay tuned. Something that we will probably try next year. But until next time, guys, for more Culz reviews, click that link to your left. For more about us here at Culz Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
And switch that notification bell from personalized to all if you want to be notified on all of our upcoming videos.
And let us know, is there a like documentary about paleontology or dinosaur, prehistoric animal you want us to cover? Tell us in the comments below.